So then we are back with modern understandings from the time of the Second Tabernacle services, where we find in the Aramaic English translation of the word. This translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of the Israelic lineage. So then we can understand the time of the end. As per Yeshayahu the prophet, then we find a layer of understanding regarding then the spring feast, autumn feast, and returning of the cities of the Messiah later waste from many centuries. And then understandably, as the nations then they are transitioning themselves from then an old system didn't work during the 1,000 years of this seat. We find ourselves then during the time of the dragon, where then the systems became precise. Precision is absolutely important. And then the economies of the world is shifting. Obviously, because then there is the new system of market and trade coming, and then we are a very short while until the downloading. Virtual monetary system, where then it is used a system of finances outside of any banking regulation and any country's policies. So then it was explained before the importance of each nation then adjusting themselves in line with this new system. There are a few references where then some nations are not doing their homework. Some nations are joining up together and then wanting then more money, more printing of money, without regarding then the market's ability of maintaining its trade value. Extremely important, each nation then evaluating and coming up with a virtual system of their own based from the gold standard. So then, evaluating what's coming in the future, we can be absolutely sure printing more money won't work, because there is a new market system with a specific value, where then if a country is not on a positive during the time of trade, then causes imbalance in the system. Some time ago, you could hear some of the interviews, for instance, from New Zealand, and the upgrading of their backlogs for then the receiving of the Asia market. Thus far, we find then some nations join up and trying then to print out more money and then make up for what they are in deficit. We understand very plainly Japan is going to get in trouble if they start printing without regard of expenses. At some point, these nations not adjusting themselves as per the new standards of the market, as far as monetary value, monetary system, and a virtual monetary system. If they don't do their homework, they can simply hand it over their countries to the Asians, because the new system requires a specific understanding of a new value of monetary system. If people are then familiar with the Bitcoin system, they can understand a bit what it means. Gold standard of value, not related with any banking, not related with any country's regulations. Since people are not doing their homework, we are not upgrading our system, we are printing out more money, more than we should, and then when this system comes via downloading, then we won't be able to match the market. How we are going to use our money, our paper money, USD, how are we going to transfer? Then in the new system, the money won't have value. That's what we are facing, money without value. And then there was news yesterday. The BRICS country, they are dismantling the USD. So then showing us more troubles coming ahead. And then if we do not have our USD-virtual, where then we can make a transfer later, so then our market, our monetary system can be then adjusted with the new then we can might as well hand it over our country to those who are Asians, because simply we won't be able to make it. Try to understand why then the BRICS nations are then dismantling the USD. How can they do this? It's because there is already a virtual system. It's the only way you can get rid of USD based solely on paper money. If they can dismantle it, it's because there is already a virtual system making up for it. It shows us we should then copying what they are doing and make sure we have a standard of a virtual value based from gold. That's why China has the most gold thus far related with then their monetary virtual system. But then we are trying to do the same old junk of 50 years ago, never worked properly, and we expect in projecting ourselves in the future without doing our homework. We are not doing freighting and taxing at the same time. The new monetary system, based from the virtual monetary system, requires a specific tracking for taxation purposes. You can purchase items using BTC, virtual monetary system, and not pay a dime in taxes. They can have guns in there, they can have drugs in there, and the government has no way of tracking it. Firstly, because they do not have a real-time consultation of transactions, and they don't have any information regarding tracking, and they simply do not know what's in a box, and they can't tax it. The taxation of those items depends upon the integrity of the dealer sending the package, and the government has no control over those because it's a system outside of their realm. So then, understanding this point, you can understand why then the BRICS countries can make the claim, get rid of a USD. Because they have already a system of their very own, where then the standards is obviously the gold and virtual. That's why they can dump the USD and being in trade every time. And what's going to become of our monetary system not having an equivalency? What does it mean, an equivalency? It means a person simply come up with a system similar as the Bitcoin using USDV or USD monetary system virtual, where the value of each of those, as you understand a bit, bit in the computer, each of them from the gold standard, where then we can purchase and becoming then a virtual monetary system, so then later we could be integrated in the market. As you understand, there are a few types of monetary virtual systems. So then our country, we are not doing our homework, we are not tracking as we should have, do not know what's coming next, because BRICS, the most important, is already dumping USD. And what is next? Would it printing out more money help? Absolutely not. It would drive their economies further away from the new system. So let's say in the US, USDV, then from gold standards, you set then 1 USDV for you to purchase, let's say for 5 USD, you can buy 1 USDV. Then becomes virtual with a value. So then if you have so much money, you can buy so many USDVs. That's why China is so flexible, because they have both. They have the standard money printing and the virtual based upon the gold. That's why they were able to come up with a system of their own, where the BRICS countries, they have a specific banking of their very own. It's because it's virtual based from the gold standards. So for how long is going to take then our nation to get our system then comparable with an equivalency, so people can start making their transitions from absolutely failed USD and then purchasing then USDVs. Used to be then USD from gold standards, but it went on the side long ago. Now the USD has barely no value. And the most important system of the BRICS then already rejecting USD. And those are the market of the future. How we are going to confront this situation? Then, worst yet, can our navies then stand in the front of cargo ships in the future? Understandably, if we do not track, if we do not tax at the same time, how is the government going to deduct the taxes later from a system not recorded? The government has no control. The only way the control can be then satisfied is by giving then this system, the tracking system and taxation at the same time. So then they can understand tracking for then taxation reason. But if they don't do it, any kind of a virtual system used for purchases, and then these products come into our country, there is no way of taxing it, because the government has no control. And since most of the products are from China, then handed over their country to the Chinese. You become then a resort, a vacation resort of China, or any similar understanding regarding the Asian market, because there is no way of tracking. And the more we print out more money, the more we devalue our system. We must generate then a virtual system, USDV, where people can purchase at the moment while the USD is active. The BRICS countries, the most important of the new trade system, is already dismantling the USD. They want to get rid of it because they know it's an inflated market of paper. That's why they can make the claim, get rid of it, because there is no value. In a short while then, there is no value in the money. And can we join up then with Japan and then Australia or then New Zealand and then print out more money? No, it's going to devalue itself. And the new Asia market has a virtual system. These other countries, they have only their own paper system. They have not yet thought of this virtual value system. If you purchase, for instance, Australian money, would be then AUV, some sort of AU virtual market based from the gold standards. So then there people can purchase USVs or USDVs or AUVs with another value based from the gold. Then when the system is so much used or purchased, then they can become partners in the new market. But thus far they are simply printing money, and expect God someday then to turn the situation on their behalf. He won't. If you like families or if you don't like families, God is not going to intervene. We should be adults enough to understand then must have a virtual system and comparable, so an equivalency can be then served. And people can start purchasing. Thus far, there isn't. And there is no tracking. And there is no taxation. If we don't do our homework the next 36 months or so, it could be not even 36 months. Because the BRICS countries are already trying to get rid of then the USD. So it might be next month. And as far as Japan, they got no choice. They have to make a deal with China. They have to apologize for what they did during the time of the war, those atrocities they did, and then becoming partners with them so they can save their own country. Because this printing out more money festival won't work. There is not a gold value standard. For instance, Japan yuan V, or a virtual market of their own, where their own people can start purchasing their units of a virtual market based from the gold. Then they can make a deal with China. Otherwise they can't. With paper money there is no value. But they never did understand truly that China is doing both at the same time for a long time. They have the paper money, and then they have the virtual system for the gold standards. Online, real-time, virtual monetary system. That's why they can make so many claims, so many moves. They went then to Germany, they went to Europe, they are making deals with them. So the Eurozone, though, is breaking because of their own system. Then they adopt the virtual monetary system from gold standards. Let's do some more homework and study, huh?